On today's show,
the Pelicans snap the Hawks streak, and they're coming for that number 8 spot.
In Crossfire, we name potential destination for the Nets, Kevin Garnett.
And we'll debate the merits of expanding the all-star rosters in the Up-Down Report.
It's Tuesday, February 3rd. The starters starts now.
Good day, Sweet World, and welcome to the starters. Whether you're joining us live online, listening to the podcast, or catching us on NBA TV, very, very happy to have you. I'm J.E. Skeets, alongside me, as always, that's Tass Mellis.
Thanks for joining us.
To my right, starters blog editor Trey Kirby.
Ayo!
Ayo! And finally, the international man of mystery, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
Lily, all right, fun show tonight. As always, we got Crossfire. We got the Up-Down Report, where we debate whether we're thumbs up or thumbs down on some hot topics. But first, in the words of Tom Ziller, our friend, he said, the Pelicans, the superior bird last night over the Hawks. Kaka! The winning streak comes to an end. A great game from the Pelicans with a healthy Anthony Davis and an offense that was really clicking, and we'll get into it. Some of their shooters knocking them down like Eric Gordon. The Hawks, after going 17-0 in January, and again, that 19-game winning streak, well, they start off February 0-1.
What a bummer month already.
They're falling apart here in February. But if they had picked up that W last night, they were just one W away from becoming the 5th team in NBA season, regular season history at least, to win 20-plus games. And you see some of the teams that have done it 20-plus. The early Lakers in the 70s, the Heat a couple years ago, the Bucks in the early 70s. I mean, 3 of these teams that we're showing you outside of the Rockets there in 07-08 went on to win the title. So, look, it was bound to happen at some point. And I think the Pelicans played a pretty solid game to pick up that win last night.
They played a wonderful game.
Yeah.
But I wanted to point out one thing that the Hawks didn't have going for them last night and throughout the streak as well. Because even though they're streaking, it's not all Jalen and Derrick Roses as far as rebounding goes. Their rebounding is a bit of a problem on the defensive end. Opposing bigs can get to offensive boards. The Pelicans had 17 offensive rebounds, 15 second chance points yesterday, and we know they're a bit undersized with Al Horford at 6'10 and Paul Millsap at 6'8. And when they get to the Eastern Conference playoffs, there's a couple teams that like offensive rebounding. So when you check their stats, hey, offensively, they're beautiful. They're passing the ball incredibly. Their D is good. But as far as defensive rebounding goes, they're 17th. They're not Spurs East when it comes to that, because the Spurs are 4th best at that. And I mentioned, the Bulls, the Cavs, if they meet up.
The Wizards.
You think about the Bulls. Yeah, the Wizards aren't actually as good, but the Bulls are 4th in offensive rebounding. You think about Noah Powell and Taj, and the Cavs with Love and Tristan Thompson, the offensive rebound machine, along with Timofey Mozgov. Those teams can beat you up, and the Hawks are lacking a bit in that department.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I get it back on the other end, though, because their bigs can also shoot. So I guess it's a little bit of a trade-off here and there, but definitely a problem if you're looking for a problem with the Hawks.
I was going to say,
you got to.
I believe we're nitpicking when a team, of course, just won 19 straight. They were bound to lose, as we said. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Pelicans and really that race again for the 8th spot in the West. I know it's still early in the grand scheme of things, but it's getting great now because the Pelicans are starting to string together some wins. Anthony Davis, a beast again last night. He's starting to put up those numbers, and he's been doing it, of course, at least 2 years running, where you're watching the game, and I'm like, he finishes with 29 and 13. I'm sort of like, what? When did he get all that?
How close do you think he is to winning MVP? If the Pelicans make the playoffs, that's a pretty good case. He's been maybe the best player in the league this season, and he's taken a pretty mediocre team to the playoffs in a super hard conference. That's a nice case.
We said, I remember when we were making our predictions, that was one of the caveats. It was, well, look, if they get into the playoffs, or they get 40, around 50 wins, you got to consider them, right? I think yes, if they get in.
Yeah, it's just great that the Pelicans are still in the race, because when Durant and Westbrook came back, we kind of assumed that the Thunder were just going to catapult themselves into the playoffs, and then Phoenix and New Orleans would be battling for that 8th spot. But the way they're playing right now over the last couple of weeks, they've started to string things together a little bit. You've still got to tread a little bit carefully with this team because they are an unpredictable team. But when you see Davis playing like that, and then Eric Gordon, Tyreke Evans, and those guys playing the way they did last night, it's good signs for the Pelicans.
Gordon was fantastic. I'm interested to see what happens when Drew Holiday comes back, because they're doing this without Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
Eric Gordon playing well. Tyreke Evans, ball in his hands, making it happen. What happens when Drew Holiday comes back? Tyreke Evans is their de facto point guard right now. Where does he go?
Yeah, that's the big question, because Eric Gordon, before he got hurt earlier and then went for his surgery and all the sort of things that they had to take care of him with his shoulder, he looked lost. He just didn't really know where he was fitting in as the 3rd option. And you're right, Tass, he has been great since Drew Holiday has been off, playing as the 2nd ball handler, working as an off guard, and that's where he's comfortable at. But you wonder if this is going to increase his trade value. At least maybe somebody will take a flyer on him, because they say, hey, this guy can be an off guard. Maybe he's not the third option because he can't really figure out what to do there, but if he's our second guy, that's okay.
You see the numbers. I mean, he's shooting lights out right now. Again, the Pelicans winners of 6 of their last 7. A really impressive one, not only the one against the Hawks, but they beat the Clippers on Friday night. That was without Davis and of course, Drew Holiday. Tyreek Evans, we've talked about him a lot in the past. He's a sort of a confusing player.
Yeah.
He looks like a top 25 player at times, and then he looks like, how is he even on a squad at other times? But during this streak, huge, you said it, Tass, moving the basketball. He's sort of, you've heard Monty Williams talk about that Tyreek is starting to figure out that he doesn't need to score 30 to have a huge positive impact for the team's success. You can go out and score 15, and you can go out and score, rack up 10 plus assists, and that's just as impressive, arguably maybe more for a squad like this.
Yeah, it's just going to be different when Drew comes back.
Yeah.
Do they try and play all 3 of them together? Do they try and play Tyreek as a backup guard? Because they're working extremely well in this situation, and Dante Cunningham sort of doing the dirty work at the small forward spot. So I would assume Tyreek would come off the bench, but it's just an odd situation for them because it's working so well.
It's a good position for him, though. He's done that in the past, and he's done that successfully. And then when he can come out, he can dictate what he wants to do with scoring the ball. And, I mean, his shot selection is still the biggest problem with him.
Sure.
He shoots a low percentage, and he takes a lot of bad shots. But he's a bit like Rondo. If he gets inside and gets into the lane and shoots at layups, he's much more effective doing that. So I think Monty Williams probably will be inclined to bring him off the bench.
Yeah, I just don't want to see the bad shots come back because I think he would be inclined. Hey, I'm going to the bench. I'm not going to get as many opportunities. Here they come.
Yeah.
Chuck.
I'm with you. I actually like him playing with better players there in the starting lineup. But then you have a weird situation. Are you going to bring Drew Holiday off the bench? Not likely.
Somebody's got to go.
Someone has to get reduced minutes. But right now, again, putting together a nice string of games here, especially Eric and Tyreek and Anthony Davis, who's been a beast. Let's look at the Western Conference race. I talked about it here. It's tight right now because the Pelicans, with all those wins, are just one game back from the Suns in the 8th spot. The Suns with a devastating loss last night that we'll get to. And you see the Thunder, they picked up a win, so they stay at 500, 24-24, without Durant last night over the Magic, and they're 3 back. You're rightly, we sort of just assumed, well, it's going to be OKC chasing the Suns, and here we have the Pelicans sticking their nose in here. So it's a very entertaining race. The Grizzlies, though, the Suns had a game wrapped up last night, Tass. They were up like 7 points with like 1:50 to go.
They were up
and
7
didn't score
with
the rest
under
of the
2
way.
minutes left, and the Grizzlies ended the game on an 8-0 run. Phoenix just can't close teams out. They're 2-8 in games decided by 3 or less, 0-4 in overtime games. They've had 3 buzzer beaters hit against them. There's been 13 buzzer beaters in the entire NBA this season.
Wow.
Thanks to SB Nation for that stat. They just can't close out teams. They just play so much iso ball at the end of games, and you look at their clutch stats, they're actually decent, but it just ends up with a 24-second shot clock. Defenses are keying in on the ball handler, and it's Bledsoe, it's Dragic, or Thomas, doesn't matter who it is. They just end up with a really bad shot, and it happens all the time. Listen, they're in the 8th spot. It's a good achievement for them where they are right now. But, combined with sitting guys who get technical fouls.
Oh, he's eased
then-
up on that.
he's eased up on that.
Of course he should have eased up on that because they lost games. So they lose those games. They lose the close games. Now they have a lot of road games left throughout the season. It's going to be tough for them.
And all of these games matter. You're right. I mean, we could get into a part where it's a tiebreaker at the end of the season. And here's a look at the remaining schedule up until the All-Star weekend for these 3 teams we're talking about, the Suns, the Pelicans, and the Thunder. Interesting, we noted there, Pelicans and Thunder, they got the home-and-home series here, so they're going to play each other the next 2 games. One in OKC, one in New Orleans, and then
Durant not playing for that first one, too.
Yeah, KD in and out of the lineup with the sprained toe. Russell Westbrook doing the triple-double last night in the win. But look at the Thunder's schedule there, just before the All-Star break. I mean, the easiest team is the Nuggets. It's not a gimme by any means. So, again, a fun race. We'll, of course, keep our eye on it and be talking about it for the next couple of days and next couple of months here on the show. Got to take a break right now, though. When we return, besides Damian Lillard, who is the best player not invited to the All-Star game? Cass and I will debate that and a whole lot more in Crossfire. Come on back. Watch the starters.
Crossfire! Welcome to Crossfire. This is how it works. Trey will give Skeets and I 3 topics. We'll debate each one, and at the end of it all, Trey will declare a winner. Trey, what is the first topic, please?
First question, besides Damian Lillard, who is the best player who wasn't invited to this year's All-Star game?
It's Mike Conley. Year in and year out, it's Mike Conley. He's not flashy. He doesn't do amazing things, but he'll get to the postseason, and he'll often outperform his counterpart at the point guard position. People forget how great he has been. We had a show middle of December. We all looked at the Western Conference cards and thought, oh, Mike Conley's got to get in. And it's just because he's not flashy, doesn't do anything that really sticks out in your mind, where you don't think of him. But if a coach was going to select a guard, he would definitely select Mike Conley.
I know this is Crossfire and I'm supposed to argue that, but I can't. I'm with you on Conley. But you can also make a case for Monte Ellis with the Mavericks. He's the one guy on a 30-win team when they're making these selections that didn't have an all-star representative. There's no Dirk, there's no Monte Ellis. He is, Dirk's fantastic, he's a Hall of Famer, but Monte Ellis is an important offensive player on one of the best offensive teams in the league. I think he deserves a nod. Again, we can get into whether you should expand the rosters or not, but man, you can make a case for Monte Ellis, who doesn't have it all at this point, to be there, right? But I like the Conley pick too. He's great.
Two good players. Trey, topic 2.
Adam Silver said the league will look at making some changes in his second year as commissioner. What's one change you'd like to see implemented?
Well, look, there are serious ones like maybe fixing tanking in the lottery system, but let's leave the serious ones for another time. Fun one, I want the play-in tournament. I want to see it happen. Let me break it down very simply what we do. We get rid of conferences, okay? Just get rid of them. Top 14 records, you're in. Then we take the bottom 16 teams. We have a 4-round bracket similar to the NCAA tournament. Who wouldn't enjoy that? That was so much fun. Those two teams then obviously get in. The championship game, so to speak, would decide who avoids playing.
You want to
for
make
one
the
seed.
season longer?
Well, we can shorten the season, but I want to make it more
You don't
fun.
think 82 games is enough to settle the top 8 teams?
Okay, we'll shorten the season a little bit. We'll go 72, and then we'll have
The
this.
players aren't going for that. You want tanking? Hey, I could,
do I care what
could
they
just
want?
do this till the 15th seed, and then, all right, I'm in the playoffs. I don't like that whatsoever. We need to make the playoffs shorter. I'm tired of the NCAA and the NFL being more popular in terms of their playoffs. This is what we do. We shorten the playoffs. People think, the casual fan thinks the first round is too long. Why get those 8 seeds in there? People don't care about the 8
You want to
seeds.
shorten the playoffs? The
We're
most
shortening them.
entertaining thing?
We're shortening them.
Wow,
We're going to get
fascinating.
single game elimination to start the playoffs, 5 through 8, and then we'll go from there. We'll talk about it later on. All right, topic number 3.
It was a juicy
Final
topic.
question. Jalen Rose thinks Kevin Garnett will be bought out later this season to join a contender. If he is bought out, where's the best destination for KG?
There's definitely some potential there that makes a lot of sense. I think the Dallas Mavericks are the perfect fit. People talk about whether Rajon Rondo is fitting with the Dallas Mavericks. That's not the problem. He is going to fit in with the Dallas Mavericks. The problem is the bench. They're just so thin. When Tyson Chandler goes to the bench or Dirk goes to the bench, they have got no one. The team drops off exponentially. They just need a big body in there. They are so desperate. It's Jermaine O'Neal or Kevin Garnett's going to come help them out. Rajon Rondo, KG, reunited.
KG, forget it. Don't go to a contender or a borderline contender. Go home. Just go home. Go back to Minnesota. Full circle here, man. Look, the truth is, KG is a little bit shadow of his former self in terms of production. You got your ring. You're a future Hall of Famer. You don't need another one. You've talked about one day the desire to own the Wolves. Well, go back, play one more year, throw on the number 21 jersey again, help the young guys there in Wiggins and Bennett and Jenga, and that's it. And then take over the team at some point and buy the thing. I don't think he's going to add a whole lot to a contender.
The best part of those highlights was the Rasho Nesterovic sighting.
Yeah. Who
All
won
right,
this
Trey,
bad
who
boy?
won it?
Your winner today is Tass because I am so anti-tournament. No, thank you.
I'm with you, Trey.
Sorry.
Foiled again. All right, we got to take a break. When we return, thumbs up or thumbs down on Marcin Gortat shaving the mohawk. That and a whole lot more in the up-down report. Come back. How did I lose that? Welcome back to the Starters into the Up-Down Report, where we figure out where the four of us stand on some hot-button NBA topics. We encourage you to do the same thing on Twitter, hashtag the Starters, up or down for these particular ones. Our first one, expanding the All-Star Game rosters. Commissioner Silver told ESPN Radio on Sunday that he sort of favors that idea, and he could see the possibility of expanding the rosters from their current limit of 12. We got a whole lot of downs, and Tass, the only one putting the thumbs up. You like this idea?
It's an exhibition game.
Who cares?
Why can't more players be invited? It's a popularity contest. I don't see why some more guys at this event is a bad idea whatsoever.
5 guys last year played 10 minutes or less. Do you want to add more guys so even more All-Stars are playing less minutes? What's the point then? Just invite everybody, let them play
We have
2
to
minutes?
draw the line
Yeah.
somewhere.
There's
Who
other
cares?
ways of
Who
doing
cares
it.
if they're playing 8 minutes a game? What does it matter? And maybe if they play less, they'll
Don't
actually
fans want to
play
see
harder.
their players?
they're going to play harder because they're playing less minutes. I don't know about that.
Do we look back and say, oh, Dirk Nowitzki played 8 minutes? Oh, man, he really needed to play that extra 4.5 minutes in All-Star.
No,
but you don't think about Dirk Nowitzki making a classic moment last year. If you have another 3 guys on the roster, you're going to have like half the roster playing 10 minutes.
I don't
it's
even
like a cameo appearance.
I don't even care. Like the minutes are, I'm with you on that. But like, first off, we just need to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
So who's going to say if you're going to add 3 more spots on each side, then we're going to be arguing about, oh man, I don't know. I think DeMarre Carroll should be in there.
Yeah.
We should have a 5th Hawk or whatever. Like, we'll just start arguing about the 3rd or 4th.
That's
tier guys.
inevitable to happen.
So,
That's always going to happen.
Well, half the fun is arguing about guys that, like we just did, Ellis and Lillard, like, I like that. It's fun to say, no, he should be in there over so-and-so. Like, it's a lot better
Listen,
than when we
it
get into
still
the
is
other guys.
exclusive. Even if you make it 15, it still is exclusive. That's not a problem.
I think there's other ways of doing it.
I think if you make this an exhibition game, then we stop evaluating Hall of Fame careers based on All-Star games. And that's a good thing because All-Star games are a popularity contest. We have to look at all NBA teams when it comes to Hall of Fame. I think that's another great part of it.
All right, let's hear what people think. Next one here. I love this one. Marcin Gortat, thumbs up or thumbs down on him shaving his mohawk. We disagree on this. We've got Trey and Tass is up. Lee and I is down. Why are you guys pro him shaving his mohawk?
I just like seeing the guy switching up his look. You know, it kind of gets boring to look the same day in and day out for years upon years upon years. Change it up every 6 months. Get a new look.
I'll tell you why. He joined NBA TV in November, and he said, quote, "Trust me, it's not easy to maintain. I literally spent an hour and a half fixing this and getting fresh for tonight. An hour and a half wasted on hair?
On a mohawk? That's
1.5 hours he could be spending on his profession and not his hair? That's bonkers.
Trey, isn't Joakim Noah your favorite player?
Indeed.
And he's never changed his look at all in like...
That's not true. He's had way different ponytails. He had a low, he had a top knot, he had a man bun. He's changed it up.
Marcin's a very handsome man, and I think the mohawk made him even more handsome. And I think once you go with a mohawk, you've got to ride it out the whole season.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you. Let's hear what people think on Gortat shaving his mohawk there. All right. Final one here. Up or down on the Minnesota Timberwolves hashtag the return video. I'm sure you've seen this. The Wolves over the weekend putting out a sort of spoof video, so to speak, of the return of not Kevin Love coming back to Minnesota to play, but of Mike Miller. Yeah, they went through all the Cavs players. They avoided Kevin Love. And then in the end, the buildup was for Mike Miller.
So, it was pretty funny.
It is pretty funny. 3 of us think it's funny, at least. Tass, myself, and Trey. Lee Ellis goes thumbs down on the hype video that was poking fun of Kevin Love coming back to Minnie. Why, Lee?
Why did this hurt your feelings?
If you don't want to honor Kevin Love, that's fine. You don't have to.
They did honor Kevin Love at the end of the first quarter with a real tribute video.
Right, but if you want to belittle him or the contribution he made to the organization, I think that's wrong. And
This belittles him?
it belittles him because they're saying, look, Mike Miller's coming back. They're poking fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
A classic joke, I believe.
But it's done. It is done in bad taste because they're trying to build it up as if it's like, oh guys, look who's coming back. Look, it's Mike Miller who played 1 season with.
Yeah,
us.
that's the joke.
The thing is, yeah, I know, but it's not that funny to make such an effort to it.
You know who thought it was funny? Kevin Love. He said it was hilarious.
I understand where Flip Saunders is coming from, and that guys may not want to go there because we don't don't really celebrate their performance.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this has been hanging over that organization for years. The whole Kevin Love saga. So I think it's good just to poke fun at it and kind of get rid of it.
But I think Kevin Love took the high road by saying he thought it was funny. I don't think he
I
really
think he thought it was
because
I think he thought it was funny.
Because Mike
But
Miller
it's pretty
didn't think
funny.
it was funny either.
All right, let's hear what people think with all the up-down report. No, Mike Miller is the only one that should rightfully be angry at that playing the 1 year there. All right, let's unleash the fantasy unicorn. Let's get into it. It's not Lee dressed up as a creepy unicorn today, thank God. But we do have a question. It comes from Golly Armero. He writes in through Twitter. Help! Should I drop Mo Williams for Jared Dudley? Mo comes up big at times, but he's day-to-day, plus Rubio's coming back, and we saw Rubio return last night. Hashtag starters. That's what you got to do to get those questions in. Someone help this man out.
Well, Golly, I was sort of in your situation. I was debating between picking up these 2 guys, and I ended up going with Jared Dudley, mainly because, like you said, Ricky Rubio is coming back, has returned. Mo Williams still played quite a bit last night, but his minutes are definitely going to drop off. And Jared Dudley has actually been pretty good recently.
Yeah.
He's been averaging 15 points a game and 2.5 threes the last week. He's getting a lot of opportunity with Ersan Ilyasova out of the lineup, so he's getting a little bit more run. He'll give you a little defense, a little rebounding, kind of a little bit of everything. Ride him while he's hot and then drop him, because eventually he's just going to go back to being Jared Dudley. Can't be 10 for 10 every night.
You see the numbers there for Dudley over the last 4 games. Yeah, pretty solid, especially with the 2.5 threes a game. And
Yeah,
good
double
percentage.
digits, 6 of his last 7 games. He's on fire.
And he's available, likely at least. He's only owned in 13% of Yahoo Fantasy League. So thanks for the question, Golly. I hope we help you out there. I hope you go win your league this week. Take one more break. When we return, could Paul George be returning to the NBA this season? This season, guys. We're going to check his tweets next. Back with the starters, a look at last night's pick'em payoff results. Started a new month here in February. Not the greatest nights for either of us. Tass went 1-4 to start the month. I went 3-2. Did call the Pelicans snapping the Hawk streak, so I should really get 2 check marks for that. But oh well. Let's get to tonight's picks, where we agree and disagree. We agree on 4. We like the Nuggets, the Pistons, the Blazers, and the Warriors. The one game we disagree on, I know you'll all be watching, it's the Celtics at the Knicks. I've got Boston. Tass will take New York. They're hot right now. They're hot, so good luck to you, sir. And a reminder, tomorrow on Wednesday's show, we have decided on the payoff for Tass, who lost the month of January. I don't want to spoil it or give it away, but I will ask you, Tass, are you afraid of heights?
Oh, God, no. I embrace them.
Oh, well, okay, we might have to rethink our idea. It will involve heights, and I think it's going to be very weird. I know it'll be weird, and hopefully it'll be somewhat funny. So join us again on tomorrow's show for the payoff for January's loss. Earlier this afternoon, Paul George tweeted the not-so-cryptic message of March. Now, maybe he's just looking forward to March. March! Big fan of March. But this is on the heels of Larry Bird telling reporters today that if George is cleared by doctors and ready to play, he would like to see the 2-time All-Star compete this season, which, you would have to put 2 and 2 together here would be March, says Paul George. Possibly, at least, if he's cleared to play. You hope so?
I hope so. I'd love to see him out there, yeah. Yeah, I think the Pacers have been a lot harder to watch this year without him.
That's
Definitely true.
absolutely true.
Paul George should just tweet playoffs, because they're in if he comes back.
Well, yeah.
Sure.
Early March, yeah, it's not so far-fetched. You're right, because they're not that far back in the East. So, yeah, we'll probably have more on that on tomorrow's show or coming up when we learn more, at least, when it comes to Paul George and whether or not he is cleared. I'd like to see him back, too. And even if they have no chance of the playoffs, just get him out there. That's the music for Lee's very solid play of the night. So, Lee, where are we going?
Going to the Cavs and Sixers game from deep inside the queue last night. Now, this isn't the most crispest, very solid play you ever see, but you just got to keep that ball.
What is going on here?
Just watch it again. Here. Watch what happens,
okay?
Because it is a bit sloppy, but everyone just keeps moving the ball around. Ends with a high percentage dunk from Timofey Mozgov.
Yep.
And that's what I call a very solid play.
That's what Lee calls a very solid play. That's what we call another show. We'll be back tomorrow to break down all the big storylines and games, so join us then.
Thank you for joining us, folks. And remember, pulling punches can be more damaging than landing them.
Brace the night, people.